Yo, what's up guys? So this is a follow-up to my last video. I'm trying to get more nuanced in my videos, more honest, this kind of shit. And I'm trying to cuss less, excuse me. But let's go here. Let's step on the gas. So notes, right? I want to make this point because I've never made this point and I think a lot of writers don't get this. When you get notes like that, like I showed you notes from a particular producer, I don't want to name them again, but when you're getting notes from a producer like that, like what is that value, right? Because a lot of people are paying services and this kind of shit. What is that value? Let's do the math on that. So they make like 20 million a year, stuff like this. Okay, cool. What is the value of them giving you notes? The actual value of their day, it's probably going to take them a full day to read your script and every line and give you and write up a whole thing. 6 pages, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages, and a lot of writers will cry, they picked on me. They gave you around, do the math yourself, around $70,000. That's how much it costs them to put aside their day to read your script and give you notes. That's the money they lost. 70 grand around. I think it's probably like 66,000, something like that. If we go with 20 million a year, 365 days, like per day, around 66,000, 66, 67, whatever. Okay, it's a lot of money. When we put it in those terms, now you're like, that is right? Like that is a lot of fucking, like they're like, they would never say that, but they're like, that's what I make a day. Like honestly, like around 70, you know? So when I take time to read your thing and give you detailed notes like that, and I'm doing it for free. And so that's part of the reason why I look at when some of these services say like it's an $899 value slash to $699. I laugh because I already know what these producers are making that have a bunch of hits behind them under the belts and agents and all of that. I know what they're making per day. It's like that. It's some of these people are making $100,000 a day, dude. And you're like, why, why is it so hard to break in? Like, that's why, dude. Like some of these people are making a fuck ton of money. You could not get them. Like, I'll give you, see, that's why I say my price, if I did a service, my prices would be pretty high. Around, I'll tell you, around like probably I would say $2,500 to read your script and give you notes. Cause I'm just gonna look at it like this, like how much would I make per day? How much am I looking to make per day? Around that. So I know it's gonna take me all day to read your script and give you notes. That's a full day. I can't, like Franklin says, like, let's be real about this shit. Like Franklin says, you can blast through, you can have a full-time job being a reader for me. You can blast through these scripts and make $24 an hour. Like, no, no. I would charge people like $2,500. You want to read from me? That's what it's going to cost. But all my reads that I've given everybody so far, and I know it's hard to get a read from me. I owe a lot of people reads. I get it. I'm trying to get to it. I'll get to it, but that's what I would charge, $2,500. But I get, but to my friends, like I give a free read, and my friends have given me free reads too. But, it's like, I want to talk about the money part a little bit, that's the price, bro. Like, and, that's why I would never say like, it's an $899 value. I would value it higher, actually. I would value it higher, and I'm not going to cut my price. So I'm not even saying that they're charging too much. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think it's a higher value, but you got to do more work though. Like, then I want 10 pages. Like that's what I'm getting from the producers or director or whatever. I'm getting a lot of pages and for free. So but I respect every page. Like when I see like one that every page is worth something out of their time, out of their life, money, family. Like they're reading your script, giving the like. That's why I say like if a producer is going to give you like 10 pages of notes, be thankful, be grateful. You know what I mean? I would never complain. Like you give me 15 pages of notes. Thank you so much for taking that amount of time to try to make sure my dream comes true. That's what they're doing. So why are you crying about that? Like some writers, like manager, agent, whatever producer gets back to them with all these notes and they tell them to fuck off. What are you doing? That was a gift. What are you doing? They should have just loved it word for word. No, 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 no. You don't understand. Like, there's a lot of fucked up shit in your thing, like in your screenplay. I did a video where I broke down one. I don't want to pick on writers, but I could break down a one page for an hour why I don't think it works. For an hour, one page. 30 minutes, no problem. You know what I mean? There's value to this. So, where am I at time-wise? Okay. So I get lost in my videos because I'm so passionate, man. But it's like just understand that part is like that's the actual value of a big producer taking their time out to what. Let's move on. Let's go somewhere else. Agent, same thing. Like do the math on this shit. And here's where I want to go. When I start writing a screenplay, I think of like what could I make off this? I think of that, per day, per page, all that, on spec, right? And I'm not. Here's a question for open writing assignments for those type of writers who are big shots. Do you think about that? Do you think about? I would think about like what am I going to get paid like per day, like per page, you know? Even as a loser spec writer, I still thought, what could I get paid? If I get scale, what am I gonna make per day on this? So I don't wanna spend too much time on this and that sped up my writing where I'm like, I'm not gonna spend 3 years writing this spec, dude. And I see some writers who are like, no offense, brother, but come on, man, like speed it up, do the math on it. If you sell it for scale, you made like $10 a day. The amount of time you spent on it, you made $10 for that day of writing. You know what I mean? That's part of the reason why I write fast. Like my first script, I was 16 days and I thought if I sell for scale, that's reasonable. I like to write quick for that reason, because I don't want to burn my time. So I guess I'm almost done with this video. Anything else I want to say? Let me just think real quick. Give me 1 second. I think that's it. I think that's my point. I would just try to understand like the actual monetary value of what you're doing and what you're asking of people to spend their time reading your shit. Like a lot of writers are asking a lot of people to get reads, and it's like, but understand what you're asking of them. Like some of these people are making a lot of money per day. So you're like, it's no big deal. Like just read, like you owe me a read. No one owes you a fucking read. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of writers come from that standpoint. Like everybody owes me a read. Like, no, they don't. Like, and when you break it down to like the actual numbers, you realize like I'm asking a lot of these people. I'm asking a lot for them to just read my thing. And they're like, it's a pass for me. And you're like, and some writers like, then fuck you. You know what I mean? But do the math on that. How much money did they spend to read your thing? You know, like I don't give a fuck what Franklin says. Like to read a script properly is like 2 hours, not a page a minute. No, like I'm like, you gotta slow down to read it properly to really grasp everything. And maybe you circle back to some moments because you're reading it as like, is it producers, for example, agents are reading it as, is this a thing I want to take on? You know, like, do I think this could sell? Like, okay, I get to page 56. Did they set that up? Let me go back to, I think they set up on page 19, I think. Let me go back to page 19. No, I have a note there. It could be set up better. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're reading it like that. You're not reading it like, oh, that was fun to read, like a movie. Like, no, you're reading it to like try to make it. You know what I mean? So that costs a lot of money out of people's days. So just understand that. Like, I think if you're, let me go here too. I've beaten that like a dead horse, right? Glue. I knew, like, when I was signed, when I first got signed at CA, I knew that, I want to make this point too. I knew that when I walked in the door, like when Sherry, right? Let's just be casual. I knew when Sherry was an agent there, and I would come in to the office and just hang out. Like, I'm just the husband, dude. Like, hey, what's up? Like, to the assistants, everything. Hey, what's up? How's it going, John? How's it going? Like, whatever. I knew there was no pressure on me. There was no, like, no one gave a fuck who I was. You know, it's like, he's just the husband. You know. But when I came in, when I was signed, then I felt a bit of pressure on me. Like, I felt more like skulky, if I'm being honest. Like, I felt more like thank you for letting me in here. You know, like, I mean, be a man. You know, be yourself. But I still felt like this. I still felt like, you know, I understand that people have paid for this building. You know what I mean? I know Aaron Sorkin, like, has paid for this whole part of the building. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is reality. I know this is Aaron Sorkin paid for all this. Tony Gilroy paid for that. Like, you know, whomever, Terry Rossio paid for that part. You know, Zach Sense paid for this, all this shit. You know, some people I know that. You know, and it's like, but I paid for the door handle. You know, that's my contribution. That's all me, bro. The door handle. You know, I know that. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's like, you gotta think about the money part too. That's my only point, is like, you gotta think about the money part and be realistic about it and do the math on it, and then you'll see, like, okay, like when you go to a director, you go to a manager, agent, or producer, whatever. Like thank you for taking the time out of your fucking life to read my shit and give me thoughts to try to help my dream come true. You know, like, you gotta be thankful about that shit. And in my opinion, and also, you know, like, if they give you notes, a bunch of notes, like, the longer the notes are, the better. Like, that's another one of my points, is like, if they write 20 pages of notes, cool. Like, that's telling me, like, they're that into it where they're like, and I like all these fixes. I think, you know, do the ones you want, basically, but I think that will help you. I think so. You know, like, that's a lot of time to take out of your life to try to help you get your fucking dream made. That's a thank you so much, man. That's what that is. So when I hear, like, you know, and managers and agents and producers have said this, like, I tried to help them and it told me to fuck off. And I tried to help them. Like, do they know what my day cost? You know, like, so anyway, I'm done. That's it. Like, the industry is expensive. That's my point. Overall point is, the industry is expensive. Movies are expensive. All of it's expensive. A lot of people are making a lot of money. Be grateful of any help anyone gives you. because they don't have to. You know what I mean? Whether it's your circle of friends who are repped at the same company, maybe you meet them through that. You guys are all repped through WME or CAA or whatever. Like, they could be writing right then instead of wasting time reading your shit and trying to help you. So that's my point with this, is like, you know, everybody's spending their time, their life to try to help you. So just be grateful, you know. That's it. I'm done. I'm out. Best of like, best of like. If I edited, I would cut that out, but I don't, and I fucked up at the very end of the video. Should I redo it? No. I'm out. Best of luck, guys. I hope you kill it. Peace. Good luck.